How do you translate from one language to another and have the Word of God? Dr. Piccirilli.
In the preface to the 1611 version, the King James translators themselves said, and I quote, "The very meanest translation of the Bible in English containeth the Word of God, nay, is the Word of God." I think they had it exactly right. After all, the Bible was originally given in human languages, the Old Testament in Hebrew or Aramaic, and the New Testament in Greek. To use the words of 2 Timothy 3:16, everything the human authors said was God-breathed, that is, inspired. The prophets and apostles gave us the very words of God. And since God gave His word in human languages, His word can be accurately translated into any other human language. People who don't speak Hebrew and Greek have to have the Bible translated into their own mother tongue. The good thing about this is that human beings created in the image of God share the very same capacity for language. So when the Bible is translated into some other human language, although the words are different, that Bible is the very Word of God. All that's required for this to be true is that the translation be accurate. We have to remember that every Bible in the world, except for the Hebrew and Greek, is a translation after all. Now, the Bible has been translated into more than 1,000 languages. In all of them, we can say that to the degree that translation accurately expresses the meaning of the original, that Bible is the Word of God. We also must remember that translating from one language to another is not merely translating one word for another, but translating the meaning. Every translation expresses the Word of God in words that are different from the original words. Different human languages say things in different ways. That's why translations are necessary. Take Matthew 1:18, for example. The Greek literally says that Mary was having in womb. The King James translates that by saying that she was with child, even though there's no word for child in the original Greek. But it's still the Word of God. It would also be the Word of God to translate it, Mary was pregnant, or Mary was expecting a child, because any of those will express the meaning accurately. At the same time, however, we have to be careful. The Bible does not say that translators are inspired by God, only that the original prophets and apostles were. And there are different philosophies of translation among the translators. Some translations are simply more accurate or more useful than others. But any translation made by a group of believers who take the Bible seriously as the Word of God and try to convey the meaning as accurately as possible is, by definition, the very Word of God. Translation is, after all, what makes it possible for us to have the Word of God. And it needs to be in our language as we use and understand it best.
Having been a missionary to another culture and another language, I'm sure Dr. Marbury has more thoughts on this.
As Dr. Piccirilli has pointed out, the biblical books were written originally in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. And it soon became apparent that not everyone could read the Bible in these languages. The process of translation began very early. The books of the Old Testament were translated into Greek from the original Hebrew and Aramaic in a version known as the Septuagint. And since most early Christians were Greek-speaking, the Septuagint became the most widely used version of the Old Testament within the Christian community. During the early centuries, the Bible was also translated into Aramaic, Syriac, Latin, and other languages. One of these Latin versions, the Vulgate, went on to become the dominant version within the Roman Catholic Church. After the Protestant Reformation, the Bible was translated into several European languages, such as German, French, Spanish, Russian, and English. And these translations were made directly from the original languages and not from the Latin Vulgate. And the process of Bible translation continues even today. Translating the Bible from one language to another involves several difficulties. Words and grammatical expressions in one language may have no exact equivalent in another language. Verb usage is a good example of this. The way verbs are used in ancient languages such as Greek and Hebrew is very different from the way verbs are used in modern languages such as English. The goal of the translator is to render as accurately as possible in the modern language the meaning the author presented in the original language. Modern translators are committed to developing the best possible understanding of the biblical languages and how they can convey accurately the message God has for the world.